Good evening, folks. My name is Amiibo Jason, and welcome to the Weekend Wiretap for the evening of March 12th, 2017. Every Sunday evening, we wrap up all of the weekend's Nintendo news in a nice, neat little package so you don't have to. So without further ado, here's what happened this weekend. First up this weekend, Pokemon Sun and Moon Ash Hat Pikachu distribution announced for Japan. The latest issue of the Japanese magazine CoroCoro has leaked, and buried within its pages comes details of an Ash Hat Pikachu distribution slated for Japanese copies of Pokemon Sun and Moon. The distribution involves special Pikachus wearing hats based on the hats worn by the Pokemon anime series protagonist Ash Ketchum during his adventures across the franchise's numerous regions. Cerebi.net reports that Ash Hat Pikachu can be obtained by pre-booking tickets to an upcoming film, Pocket Monsters the Movie, I Choose You. Those who pre-book their tickets will receive a one-time redemption serial code that grants them a Pikachusium Z Crystal within the games, as well as the ability to download the various Ash Hat Pikachus throughout the rest of the year. The hats that will be available throughout the year are Kanto, Hoenn, Shinoa, Unova, Kalos, and Alola. At the moment, there has been no announcement about distribution of any of these adorable Pikachus in any other region other than Japan, but stay connected to Nintendo Wire for more information as it drops. Next up this evening, Satoru Takizawa explains why Link doesn't have his pointy hat in Breath of the Wild. The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild is perhaps the coolest game to come out in the last decade. Plenty of things contribute to its coolness: the open world, a variety of weapons and items for Link to collect, the lack of Link's pointy hat, etc. That's right, Link's iconic pointy green hat was excluded from the latest entry in the series due to the fact that it's difficult to make the hat look cool, according to Satoru Takizawa, the art director for the game. Takizawa went on to say that this was the reason the hat has changed so much between the last few games in the series, going from extremely long in Twilight Princess to shorter than normal in Skyward Sword. Takizawa and his team put a lot of effort into changing Link's design for the game, while still helping him maintain that recognizable Link likeness and keeping the essence of his character. So even with his iconic hat and green tunic missing, Breath of the Wild's Link is still as much of a hero as any other incarnation. Next up this evening, a speedrunner beats Breath of the Wild in under an hour. Only 1 week after the release of The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, the speedrunning community has already managed to accomplish the impossible, beating the game in under an hour. Currently, speedrunner Gymnast86 has the best time, clocking in at 58 minutes and 1 second. Keep in mind, Amiibo were not used in this run. If you guys know speedrunning, you should know that these titles are going to switch hands frequently over the next few weeks as new techniques and glitches are discovered. If you've already beaten Breath of the Wild, we highly recommend you checking out a link to the full video. You can find it in our full written article in the description below. And finally this evening, Toejam and Earl Back in the Groove is heading to Nintendo Switch. Switch-owning retro gamers are getting a bit of good news today. The long-awaited 4th installment of the classic Toejam and Earl series, Back in the Groove, is making its way to the Nintendo Switch. As reported by Polygon's Charlie Hall, who had some hands-on time with the title, Back in the Groove takes the series back to its roots as an isometric exploration game. The game will feature a total of 9 playable characters, including Earl's mother. Each character possesses different stats for their speed and health, affecting the way you play based on characters you choose. Like the original Sega Genesis hit, it will feature randomly generated worlds that make up the 25 levels of the game. Back in the Groove is said to be jam-packed, no pun intended, with Easter eggs, as well as having an intro mode and hard mode for both new and expert players respectively. Given the retro throwback nature of the gameplay, the developers are hoping it's a hit with old fans of the series, and with the exposure to the new audience, it might just bring a new generation of Toejam and Earl fans. The game is set to release sometime this year for the Nintendo Switch, Xbox One, PS4, Windows, Linux, and Mac, so pretty much everything under the sun. So even if you haven't picked up a Switch, you still have plenty of options if you want to head back to Funkotron. And that's going to wrap up the Weekend Wiretap for the evening of March 12th, 2017. As always, in the description down below, you can find a link to our full written article, and head on over to NintendoWire.com for all of your Nintendo news needs. See you guys tomorrow!